Hey everybody, back again. Everybody's talking about highlight maker hoops, and I've been feeling bad because that puppy has been stored right under here since I got it earlier this week. And because I've been so addicted to Appa lately. So what I figured is I might not get a game in, but we'll see. But I want to at least unveil what I bought. This isn't exactly the package that comes. We can go to their website, play.com. But it is, and that's an extra A, by the way, Plaay for those who don't know. And let me just give it kind of an overview of Play games because it's different. It's unique is the best way to say it. And I don't mean that in any bad way. It is just different. And strategy is the best way to talk about how they do games over at Play. I have a tremendous amount of Play games in my plethora of games that I have. And so I was really excited to add this one. It's brand new, just came out over the last week or so. And I wanted to add it and see how it works. But strategy is the name of the game with this. Qualities is something that they put into, and I don't mean quality of game, I mean qualities of the players as something that they use. They're not about, this isn't a numbers game like you get with Appa or Strat or Payoff Pitch or any of the others out there. This is about the qualities of the players, and they even take into account umpires. I'm not sure if referees get into this. Probably does. I have only watched one quick video on it, so I don't even know how to play the thing yet. But anyway, let me just unveil what I bought, just to give anybody a preview in case they're thinking about heading over. So let me move this away first, which is the big part of the purchase here, as I'm working at limited space here because I got Apple all over the place. But let me start with something I always buy from the Play games, and they crush this. They absolutely crush it. In fact, you're seeing my soccer blast on here. This thing stays on here. It is one of the most quality. It's a huge mouse pad, really is what it is, but it's great when you play Soccer Blast, which, by the way, I bought all this and I still haven't played Soccer Blast. I think I played Soccer Blast once, and it was a great game. I just got turned into something else. So I'm going to add, I just want to show what the History Maker Hoops one looks like. See if I can roll that out here on camera. Ooh, look, it's looking decent on camera. Oh, my freaking dice out here. Push those off. See my little hockey bones up here. I got everything going on over here. But this is pretty neat. One, and it basically has everything you need. I'm going to even try to pull the camera over here and see it from a different angle a little bit. You can see, obviously you got your starters out here. Power forward, small forward, shooting guard, point guard. What the heck CE is? That should be SF first. No, small forward or center. Oh, duh, CE. I'm just used to just C. I guess they wanted to stay with the 2 letter. But and then you're probably putting chips up here for fresh, whether they're fresh or not. This is kind of neat. So you get the your little cheat sheets in here, the little putback and what they are. That's nice. So while you're playing the game, you're able to see that. That's pretty cool. And then over here on this side, let's see if I can get my thing over here enough. You got clashing. This is kind of what the strategy is involved. Strategy, quality of the team, what's going on with the team, how they feel. Are they, and this is on the bottom too. So you got one for each team. Are they clashing, complacent, neutral, energized, sync? That's generally a role before the game. It was in baseball. I'm going to assume that's probably something that's in there. And then, yep, I was right. They do use referees, 3 referees, and they come into play just like in baseball. If you're not familiar with the baseball game, it can make a difference on whether a guy strikes out, large strike zone. It makes the game unique. I really like it. And then there's an area for foul trouble. You put the card there, I believe. And then who's resting, who's on the bench, who the coach is, they make a difference. So just a nice mat, a nice play mat. It's very, let me see if I can get, it's thick. And it's really nice on the back end. It stays on here, on your playing field, playing field, on your desk really nicely. And it's just a great addition. I mean, I buy one for every single Play game I have. It's just, I use these whether I'm playing, hoops or not, or whether I'm playing the play game or not. I just think this is something they excel better than anyone else by far that I've seen. So let me put this back over here real quick and see what else we got. All right, so we got that. I'm gonna pop open the actual game here and the extras that I brought that come with the game and see how they look. So let me hit the chat. I'm always forgetting. Ron stops by. Ron? How are you doing? And Dave, nice to see you, Dave. We're always talking. Appreciate you. And Ron saying I was in the Air Force. You were a bomb loader. Wow. Wish I could say it was something important. Ron, I worked in base supply, but I played sports the whole time I was in. So I won just a little pat on the backy here. I won base championship in softball every single year I played. And then I was also on the base team all the time. So huge softball player. Also played football and basketball, but now we're getting off topic. But thank you for your service, Mr. McGrath. I appreciate that a lot. Not said enough between people. So thank you. All right, let's jump in to what I bought. You can see right on top here, starting with the all-time franchise teams. I'm really excited to try this. I'm a replay guy, as you guys know, and I like to do replays, seasonal replays. But basketball, and I bought with APA, they have bats. I think it's called bats. I bought that and played that and actually split the teams into where they were born. I had really a lot of fun with that. And by the way, California, I think it was California beat Texas or beat Ohio. I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I just do different things. But I think this is going to be fun to try. So I'm going to open this up here in a second and see who are on the all-time franchise great teams. There's a lot of talk about that in the Play forums, about who might be involved in that before that got rolled out. And of course, I bought the 23-24 season. Wanted to see how that is. I'm more of an 80s, 70s, 80s basketball guy, just like baseball and football. But I wanted to get the newest season and give that a shot and see how that went. So as a Cleveland guy, interested in seeing how Cleveland ends up finishing out in this. Not sure when I'll get to this because when I first start it, I'm definitely going to be doing the all-time team hoops. All right, and here's the actual game itself. Of course, quality packaging always by the Play guys. For those you don't know, Play has two different areas. One called Classic. Now I'm brain farting on what the other one is, but those who go over there know it. One is basically sports games and statistical type replay type games, and then the other is kind of fantasy type games. It has really nothing to do with the classic sports, if you will. So anyway, I live off in the classic area. Anyway, so we're gonna pop this one open and see what we got. Got more garbage is what we got. All right, so they have these nice covers, and actually, when you buy the game, very interesting. It must be a big deal over there. I didn't really see it all that much, but they can come with this cover or just come with this. I took the cover. I think the cover looks nice, and it stores nicely in my cabinet that way. So I took the cover. I don't remember how much more it was. It was a couple bucks more. Awesome. Thank you for your service also. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look here what we got in Play games. Basketball hoop. I admittingly, I am very that's what I'm looking for, confused on how to play this game, because they have a hoops game that isn't prime time, that people are talking takes 15 minutes to play with like 10 fast action cards. But this game takes 2 hours. So I'm a little confused on that. I'm sure I'll unconfuse myself as soon as I start playing. But somehow the cards can be used for both. So throwing that out there. As usual, get your nice little dice packages. I will find an auto dice roller. I always do. But I think you do need some of these chips again for the on the board when you're putting people as fresh or whether the team is clashing, blah blah blah. So it's nice to have some of these chips in here, but the dice itself, I generally what I do, and I think I've talked about this before on my channel, is I will end up excuse me, taking this game downstairs out of my office and putting it on a big table, and I just play the game. I use old-fashioned stat sheet, which I'm not going to get into the whole long thing about basketball not having a good electronic scoring system. I know there's iScore out there, but it doesn't keep standings, so I immediately toss it out because of that. I've been using a something called it's right here on my computer. Let me look for it. You have to buy it though, but I won't get into how I got it. But it's called DAC Stats, DAKSTATS, basketball, and that looked pretty cool, but it's expensive. You got to pay a lot of money for it. From what I've seen, they've let me get basically a trial version of it. So I can't see that that's any kind of long-term answer either. So I got to figure out a scoring system. Yeah, I can go to Excel and all those different things, or just use iScore and make up my own standings. But it's the one thing that keeps me from really jumping on basketball is the inability to have something like ball score, ball stat, diamond, the diamond baseball that's out. It's something that's missing from the communities. Football has got that new strategy one that's out. That one seems to work really well. Basketball is behind. So those of you out there, developers, make one. Okay, so you can see it. There's not a lot inside the actual, inside the actual box itself. It just came with the dice and the pawns, along with this booklet and a couple of things inside that. Let's take a look at what's inside here. What do we get when you buy the Hoops game? Hoops highlight maker. I can see score sheets on the back, which I'll need when I first start. So we start out with a very nice, I don't know if you can even hear that, very, very nice scorebook with a highlight maker's full game play module. And then, this is basically your final minute mode, which I've heard so much about. So it's kind of a final minute mode. It's got different things on here. I'm not good with cameras. Okay, so final minute mode. So obviously we've got something that's going to take up some room, but knowing me, if somebody hasn't already done this, this will end up in a spreadsheet. So I can just look off one of my computers for it. But if I remember correctly, you can play the game just like this. Just take it to the final minute. You can like sim the game and then just play the final minute. If I remember, again, I got a lot of work to do. Unusual results on the back. Again, now you're flipping charts. So that's why all this will end up in a spreadsheet for me. If someone, again, hasn't already done it. So there's that. This is the full play mode. So that's interesting. It's basically all the info on that, how to play it full mode. And then here we have individual. This is if you didn't buy what I got. You can see this is exactly the pad. So I won't be needing that. I can definitely go back in the box, which I don't remember even where I put it. There it is on the floor. Nice. Okay. And then here we got a chart on some maker TV timeouts, which is really cool. So this is kind of the stuff that they take into account. Just stuff like this that make the game feel more real. There's also stuff up here, lightning status, free throw rebounds, inbound result after a timeout, because we all see how those go. And then the TV timeouts roll separately for each team. So there's this is where you start resting people. I'm really interested to see how this works out statistically and, see if LeBron, for instance, does he end up resting a bunch in a game because they get forced rest by things like this? But it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Then we got, these are all separated. So these look like the huge cards, the fast action deck, if you will, for this game, which is really cool. Goes all the way to here, and these are all separated. There's 4 in each. Numbered at the bottom. I wonder if that matters at all. Interesting though. They're all mattered. So it looks like 56 of them. So yeah, there's numbering on the bottom. I wonder if that comes into play, or if they just happen to number them. So those obviously get shuffled up and used. That goes over here. And then what do we have added? I think playoff teams. I don't know what we got here. Oh, referees. So here we got some referees. Don't know these names off the top of my head. They must be, for the 2020-21 season referees. Interesting. I didn't buy the 2021 pro season. I bought the 22. Oh, they're different seasons. 2021, 20. That's weird. Interesting that I got those. Any others? No others. That's not sure why I got this. You would have thought I would have got referees. Oh, I bet the referees are in the team file. I bet. They just threw these in here. Wake up, John. Okay. So they threw these, this is nice. They threw in a few teams for you. It looks like the 2021 Phoenix Suns and the Clippers and Atlanta. This must be maybe playoff teams. Milwaukee's in here. And then you got the coaches are in here. So just some teams from 2021 to play with if you want. So that's in there. And then here are their unique score sheets. Extremely unique score sheets. Not what I was thinking. These are very different. Again, not knowing how to play the game yet, it might make a whole lot of sense, but yeah, that's their score sheets. So there's that. A lot to learn. So let's take a look at the all-time franchise great teams that I purchased. That was the big deal for this that I wanted. Look at those cards. I mean, those of you who look for quality in cards and look for color, look no further. This Play does a great job. The cards are small. I wish they were a little bigger, but the quality, especially their special event cards, when you look at their, when I opened this one, they're black and white, and they're not like this at all. They only do this for special cards, anniversary type things, but man, do they pop when they do them. I mean, look at that. I'll do a quick comparison here in a second, and you'll be like, dang, they are completely different. So this is fun. I mean, the idea here is you really got to go into fantasy land and say, okay, I want to take the best of the Celtics, against the best of the Hawks. You're not doing one season. And of course, you got to go with whatever ratings and whatever Play gave you. But these are nice. I mean, again, just the quality of the cards. Look at those. I mean, it's not payoff pitch, sorry, but they are nice. I mean, they're nice. This is a 9.9 out of 10. Really nice. Again, I just wish they were a little bigger, but you got to fit them on the board. Basketball's a little bit different. You got moving parts, so I get it. And this is just the way Play does games. They do smaller cards. So I end up using these little, I've got them ready over here, and I got to maybe put team names on them, but I use these little penny envelopes to put them in. They fit nicely. All the players fit nicely in here. So that's what I use for that. So let's take a look at some of the teams just to talk basketball for those of you who are big basketball fans like I am, especially older basketball fans. Atlanta with Mookie Blaylock. Definitely remember Mookie. I have to admit, I don't know who Cliff Hagan is. No idea. Al Horford, of course, we all know Horford. He's playing right now for Boston. Lou Hudson, I remember him. A great guard from back in the 60s. maybe early 70s. Bob Pettit, I don't remember him with Atlanta, but I guess he was. Great Hall of Fame. I think he's in the Hall of Fame basketball player. Doc Rivers, most of you probably know him. Younger guys know him as a coach, but he was a great guard. Tree Rollins, definitely block shot man. Always loved his nickname of Tree. Dan Roundfield, great power forward in the 80s for Atlanta. Spud Webb, go YouTube Spud Webb if you don't know him. Amazing leaping ability. Won the slam dunk competition at what, 5? I want to say 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", somewhere. He is short. Of course, Lenny Wilkins, one of the greatest basketball players and greatest coaches of all time. Combo there. And Dominique Wilkins, I would say definitely the best Atlanta Hawk of all time. And then Kevin Willis was just a scorer, rebound machine. He created the 2010 for sure. So great Atlanta team. The Celtics, of course, you Boston fans will know a lot of these guys. Sorry, I'm not even showing the cards here. But you Celtic fans will know all of these guys. Larry Bird, Bob Cousy, Dave Cowens, John Havlicek, Dennis Johnson, Sam Jones. Ed McCauley, I don't know. I do not know Ed McCauley. I would have thought some other guys would have been on this team, but he's on here. Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Paul Pierce, Bill Russell, of course, and Bill Sharman. So that's Boston. Their all-time team. So I wonder if is it on the back? Is there a? No, I was wondering if maybe it was just covering certain decades and I just left certain players out because they didn't get some sort of theme. But it looks like they just went all-time team. So looking at Brooklyn, they have Kenny Anderson. Boy, I remember him. Derek Coleman, Spencer Dinwiddie. That's more recent. Mike Jaminski, remember him. I think he went to Duke. Joe Harris, not off the top of my head. Richard Jefferson, of course, is on TV now. I remember him not only with this team, but played a lot with the Cavs. Jason Kidd, we all know. Kerry Kittles was a great guard. Brock Lopez, player from now. Drazen Petrovic, man, was he good from the outside. Keith Van Horn, great player, could score. Buck Williams is a great rebounder. I remember him from my fantasy basketball days where I used to make sure I got Buck because he used to get me 10, 12 boards a game. Looking at Charlotte, some of these guys I'm not going to know. Some I will, but a lot of this is recent. But Nicholas Batum, don't know that name. Muggsy Bogues, all-time young small guard. Eldon Campbell was a great center, also played with the Lakers. Del Curry, we all know who his son is, but he could shoot the lights out. Larry Johnson, man, what an awesome player from UNLV. Anthony Mason was a pounder. Amika Ekafor, obviously a little more today. Kemba Walker today. Gerald Wallace, that's who the guy, I think he used to play for the Knicks too. David Wesley, Marvin Williams, Cody Zeller. So Chicago, gee, I wonder who will be on this team. They got Luol Deng, Artis Gilmore. They're not showing cards here as well. They've got, Artis Gilmore, Horace Grant, Kirk Heinrich, some guy named Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, Bob Love. That goes back into the early 70s, maybe even 60s. Joakim Noah, can't stand him as a Cavs fan. Scottie Pippen, Jerry Sloan, there's an old-time Chicago, and Reggie Theus was a good player too. Here comes my Cavs. I definitely was excited to see these Cavaliers. So we got Austin Carr, Brad Daugherty. I can already see they left off my favorite player. That sucks. Anyway, Brad Daugherty, Craig Elo, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Love, Larry Nance, Mark Price, Hot Rod Williams, Tristan Thompson, and Anderson Varejao. I would have liked to seen a bingo Bobby Smith on this, but I see what they put on here. I mean, I'd also like to see Campy Russell on this team instead of a few, maybe Anderson Varejao out, or even Tristan Thompson, who I like the guys. Even Kevin Love could have been left off for those guys. But, you can't can't get them all, right? So that'll be fun to play. Dallas is, maybe on their way to the NBA championship this year. They got Aguirre, Blackman, Bradley, Brad Davis, James Donaldson, Luka Doncic. Michael Finley was a great scorer. Derek Harper, Devin Harris, Dirk Nowitzki, one of the greats. Dwight Powell, I don't know. And Jason Terry, big guard. So Dallas, good Dallas team. And then Denver, Carmelo Anthony, Marcus Camby, Alex English, Dan Issel. Man, Issel was fun back in the day. Djokovic, of course, on here, Jokic. Ty Lawson. And then they add in Fat Lever, Andre Miller, Jamal Murray, Dikembe Mutombo, Nene. And I was about to say, man, if they leave David Thompson off, that was not going to work. But David Thompson, one of the great scorers. Man, he was fun to watch. And we go on to Detroit, the Bad Boys, Chauncey Billups, Dave Bing, Joe Dumars, Larry Faust. I have to admit, don't know who that is. Grant Hill, Bailey Howell, don't know who that is. Bill Lambier, Bob Lanier, Tayshaun Prince, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, and Ben Wallace. So a couple of the guys on Detroit, I don't know. Off the Golden State, Paul Arizin, don't know him. Rick Barry, we all know. If you don't know Rick Barry or you never saw him play, he used to do the underhanded free throws. So Rick Barry. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain, greatest scorer of all time. Steph Curry right there with him. And the hated Draymond Green, Tim Hardaway. God, I love back in the day with Golden State. I actually met Chris Mullin at a airport in San Francisco. Really nice guy. Anyway, Andre Iguodala, Neil Johnston, don't know him. Chris Mullin, Jeff Mullins, I don't know Jeff Mullins. Klay Thompson, of course, and Nate Thurman used to be a great player for the Cavs too. You could have left him off of that team, or could have put him on that team. Nate Thurman was really good with Cleveland. Houston, Sam Cassell, James Harden, Robert Horry, big shot, Robert. Moses Malone, Rodney McRae, Yao Ming. Man, I forgot all about Yao Ming. Calvin Murphy, Hakeem Olajuwon. Boy, did Houston ever have some great centers. Robert Reed, Kenny Smith, Otis Thorpe, and Rudy Tomjanovich. Where is Sampson? How do you not put Sampson on Houston? I don't know. Ralph Sampson, not on Houston. Please tell me he's on another team. Am I remembering wrong? Okay. Anyway, no, all the Houston guys. Indiana, Dale Davis, Vern Fleming, I don't. Jeff Foster, I don't. Paul George, of course. Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert, Mark Jackson, Billy Knight. He was good back in the 70s and 80s. George McGinnis, Reggie Miller, Jermaine O'Neal, and Rick Smits was a great center. So good Indiana team, always competitive. The Clippers, who can never seem to get past anything. The Clippers are up next. See how many of these guys I remember. Elton Brand, Michael Cage, Jamal Crawford, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Corey Maggette, Danny Manning, Bob McAdoo. Oh, man, was McAdoo a monster. Scoring machine. Swen Nader. Wow. I don't know if I'd have put Swen on an all-time Clipper team. I would have thought I could find some other players, but maybe it was hard finding players. Randy Smith, because I wonder if this Los Angeles team is including Buffalo as their, because, this team has moved around. There's some guys on Buffalo I would have thrown in here. Roy Vault, Lloyd Vault, I don't know if I remember him. And Zubac, I don't know who that is. Okay, so now into the Lakers. I'd be shocked if I and everyone else doesn't know every player. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Elgin Baylor, Kobe Bryant, Michael Cooper, AC Green, Magic Johnson, George Mikan. Now that one, some people might not know, but he was a great player in the 60s. Lamar Odom, probably more famous for his off the court things. I don't know that I would put Lamar Odom on this team, but I think the idea here is that they're not giving you like really what do we got? 12 best players of every team. They're trying to put a team together So you're going to need guys who are going to be 11th and 12th men. And Odom will fit that area. Byron Scott, Jerry West, one of the great all-time scorers. Jamal Wilkes and James Worthy. Yeah, there's just other guys I would have put on here besides Lamar Odom, but maybe that's the idea of this game. Next up is the Memphis Grizzlies. They've got a team. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, I remember him. Changed his name. God, what was his name? He had a different name when he first entered the NBA, and I want to say he started with Denver, and he was a scorer. Tony Allen, I vaguely remember him as a rebounder. Desmond Bain, that's a newer guy. Shane Battier, of course, know him more from Duke. Mike Conley, great guard from Ohio State. Paul Gasol, of course, him and his brother. Mark, who's on this team too. Rudy Gay, Jaren Jackson, Mike Miller, a big three-point artist. John Morant, troublemaker. I'm not going to get off on him, but man, he was going to be something. Still might be, but I doubt it. And Zach Randolph, good player. Memphis doesn't have a lot of history to pull from, though. On to Miami. Who we got for Miami? We've got, quick look at the thing. We got Bam Adebayo. I'm probably saying that. Adebayo. I always say his name wrong. Chris Bosh. Hate him. And if you know why, I'm a Cleveland fan. And Bosh is the one who forced LeBron and D-Wade down to Miami. I absolutely hate Chris Bosh. Jimmy Butler, Mario Chalmers, Udonis Haslam, Eddie Jones, Grant Long, Alonzo Mourning. Oh, man, could that dude score from Georgetown? Glenn Rice, speaking of another scorer. Ronnie Cycli. Man, they got some centers. Dwayne Wade and D-Wade, and then Hassan Whiteside, a newer player. On to Milwaukee, Ray Allen. Interesting. Does this mean that Seattle doesn't have a team? That would be sad. I bet they don't. I bet they're all playing in Oklahoma City. Ray Allen would have been an all-time great Sonic, and I would have liked to seen the Sonics have a team in this. And I really hope Seattle gets a team back. I lived there for almost 13 years, and it's a great city. And they love their basketball. They got screwed by anyway. Moving on. Ray Allen, of course, you got Giannis. I'm not even gonna try his last name. Junior Bridgman. I remember him from the 70s. Terry Cummings from the 70s and 80s. Bob Dandridge from the 70s. Marcus Johnson from the 80s. I don't know John McLaughlin. Chris Middleton, a newer player. Sidney Moncrief, great 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Ricky Pierce, great player. Paul Pressey. And Michael Redd from Ohio State played in the, I want to say, the late 80s, early 90s. On to Minnesota. Terrell Brandon. Let me show the card. Okay. Terrell Brandon, who also played in Cleveland. I don't remember him with Minnesota, but he's on their all-time team. Gorgui Dieng, a newer player, I believe. Anthony Edwards made this team. Interesting. Kevin Garnett. Of course, Tom Gugliotta. He also played for Washington, I'm pretty sure he played for Washington too. Christian Laettner. I did not know he played for Minnesota. Sam Mitchell. Ricky Rubio, good guard, also played for Cleveland lately. Wally Zerbiak, another Cleveland. We got a Minnesota-Cleveland overlap here. Wally Zerbiak, great shooter. Karl Anthony Towns, of course, a new guy playing now. Doug West was a good scorer. And Andrew Wiggins, drafted by Cleveland, number 1 overall, and then sent off to Minnesota in the Kevin Love deal. I think I would have put Kevin Love on Minnesota and removed him from Cleveland, and then put like Campy Russell or one of the other Bingo Smith on Cleveland. But that's me. And of course, I can do whatever I want. I can make up my own card. Next up, we got the New Orleans Jazz. This ought to be interesting. Another team that moves around. So let's see who's on their team. Ryan Anderson, big dunker. PJ Brown, kind of remember PJ. Tyson Chandler, yep. Anthony Davis, of course. That's on the New Orleans rather than the Lakers. That's probably this set's made in 5 years. It'd probably be on the Lakers. Baron Davis, big scorer. Eric Gordon, big scorer. Drew Holiday, again, in 5 years. Is he on the Celtics instead of here? Brandon Ingram. Yep. Herbert Jones, I don't remember. Chris Paul, David West. And I'm stopping here, and Zion Williamson. I'm stopping here because where the heck is Pete Maravich? How is he not on the New Orleans team? That makes no sense. He is that team. So I am at a loss as to why Pistol Pete is not on New Orleans. Speaking of making a card, I will definitely make one for Pistol Pete if he doesn't show up on another team. But in my mind, he's New Orleans. Okay, New York. This should be an interesting team. So New York coming up next there. So Dick Barnett, if I'm not mistaken, 60s player. Bill Bradley, of course, became a senator, definitely a 60s and 70s player. Dave DeBuscher, 60s, 70s player. So they're going back in the vault here for the Knicks. Patrick Ewing, no introduction needed. Walt Frazier, probably no introduction needed. Also a Cav at one point. I don't know who Harvey Gallatin is. So sorry, Knicks fans, don't know him. Allen Houston, great shooter. Bernard King, absolute, oh man, like 70 points easy sometimes. Earl the Pearl Monroe, Charles Oakley, a border. Willis Reed, famous. Everybody knows Willis coming out in that 7th game. John Starks, the guy who dunked. Man, Starks could get up in the air. Great personality, too. All right, next up is Oklahoma City, and I can tell already they did merge these with Seattle, which will make no Seattle fan happy because Seattle Sonic fans like Oklahoma City about as much as Cleveland Brown fans like me like Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah, that does not cross. So this ought to be interesting to see how this goes over with Seattle fans. Maybe I'll redo the card and put them in Seattle and then put some of these other guys. Anyway, I have some ideas already in my head. Fred Brown, Sonic, not Oklahoma City. I know they retained their rights, but he was a Seattle downtown Freddie Brown. Kevin Durant, first pick of Seattle, then they moved to Oklahoma City. Dale Ellis, great shooter for Seattle. Serge Ibaka obviously was Oklahoma City. Sean Kemp, another Cleveland Cavalier. Kemp, though, definitely Sonic. Rashard Lewis, great shooter for Seattle, but did move to Boston in his later years. I think he might have even ended up on Miami. But Gary Payton, great all-time Sonic. Sam Perkins, great all-time Sonic. Also a very good Laker, but definitely I would have put him on Seattle. Detlef Schrempf, great Seattle player. Jack Sigma, all-time center for them. Russell Westbrook, obviously Oklahoma City. Interesting they decided to put him here. He's been around a lot, but I don't disagree with that. And then Gus Williams, one of my favorite Sonics. So I'm going to struggle with the Oklahoma City team because they're really Seattle. All right, let's take a look at the next one, which is Orlando coming up. Orlando with Nick Anderson, great shooter. Efrene Hardaway. Yeah, everybody knows him. Great talent. Dwight Howard, can't stand him, but does deserve to be on this team. Tracy McGrady, great scorer. Jameer Nelson, yep. Shaquille O'Neal. Interesting they put him on Orlando and not the Lakers. Where did he win his titles? I don't know. So that's I wonder if they struggled to put him on this team. Probably not. There's so many great Lakers. They decided to put him here. Bo Outlaw, great rebounding power forward. JJ Redick, great shooter. Dennis Scott, lights out shooter. Scott Skiles, great ball handler. Hito Turkoglu, I always say his name wrong, but anyway, he was a great shooter, good player. And Nikola Vucevic, a newer guy. All right, and next up we've got Philadelphia and the Sixers, great all-time team here. Charles Barkley, of course, Maurice Cheeks, great guard. Billy Cunningham, good 60s, 70s guard. They've got him as a forward center. I think he was more of a guard forward. I don't think Billy was bigger than 6'7", 6'6", my thought. I'm not sure why they made him a center. Joel Embiid, of course. Julius Erving, greatest of all, well, not greatest of all time, but man, was he fun to watch as a kid. Hal Greer. Do not remember Hal Greer. So Hershey Hawkins, lights out. Allen Iverson, one of the greatest of all time. Bobby Jones, great shooter from this, I want to say late 70s, early 80s. Steve Mix, same thing, 70s, 80s. Dolph Shays was more 60s, 70s. And I don't remember Chet Walker. So that's them. And next up is Phoenix. I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I loved Phoenix. I have nothing to do with Phoenix, but I used to love the old Phoenix Suns teams. And guys like Alvin Adams was on that. Danny Ainge, that's an interesting one to put on Phoenix and not Boston. But he did have some years in Phoenix. Devin Booker, of course, newer. Tom Chambers is also an interesting one that he was on Phoenix and not Seattle or Oklahoma City. Interesting one there. Walter Davis, great player back in the day. Jeff Hornacek was a great player. Also, this is an interesting one because Hornacek had just as many good days in Utah as he did in Phoenix. But again, they had to make these decisions and they made them. Kevin Johnson, great guard. Spent some time in Cleveland too. As did the next guy, Dan Marley. Man, Marley was awesome. Dude could jump. Sean Marion, most awkward shot in basketball outside of Rick Barry, but worked for him. Steve Nash, Canadian awesome guard. Amari Stoudemire, met him in Vegas, along with a bunch of guys actually in Vegas. They were having the summer tournament or whatever, and there was a ton of them, including Kevin McHale that I met. I actually sat down and played blackjack with these guys. They're really cool. Paul Westphal, great player. Weird mind if you watch the HBO series on the Lakers, but he was a great player. Be fun to play the Suns. Next up is Portland. Take a look at these Portland boys. And Portland, another great team from the past, could never get over the top. They're a lot like Cleveland, trying to get over that top to win a championship. It was really tough for Portland. They ran into some superstars. LaMarcus Aldridge, good player, great player in his time. Clyde Drexler, we all know Clyde. Jerome Kersey was a good player. Of course, Damian Lillard, now in Milwaukee, but definitely should have a Portland card. CJ McCollum, newer player, good. Terry Porter was a good guard back in the day. Cliff Robinson was a great forward center. Most of you probably remember him from the Michael Jordan made a little poster out of Cliff. Brandon Roy, good shooter. Arvidas Sabonis, one of the great centers, battled it a lot with the Lakers. Rod Strickland, a great scoring guard, good assist guy. Rasheed Wallace, he is the Dennis Rodman of his time. And Bill Walton got a Portland card, which I probably think is right. Could have got a Boston card, but he played a lot less minutes. He was a backup in Boston, but definitely brought Portland a lot of stuff. So good call putting him there. Next up is another team that can never seem to get over that hump. And boy, I'm already looking at the first guy and unsure what the heck the thought process was here. Maybe I need to go back and look at history. Nate Archibald on Sacramento. That should be on Boston. So not sure why he is on. I don't even remember him on Sacramento. So that's an interesting one. I'll go back in my own and look that one up. Mike Bibby, great shooting guard. His dad was a great baseball player for the Indians. DeMarcus Cousins, of course, newer player. Vlade Divac, that's who I was trying to think of. That the Portland Sabonis used to go up against. And Divac's interesting that he got a Sacramento card. I agree with it, but he could have got a Laker card. Sam Lacey is an older player. Jerry Lucas, interesting. He's on Sacramento. Mitch Richmond. This is interesting too that Mitch is on Sacramento. I guess they just had to find players for Sacramento because I don't know that I would have put him on Sacramento. Mitch belongs with Mullen and Hardaway on Golden State. So little surprised he's here. Oscar Robinson, old Kansas City. So some of these guys are coming from Kansas City days. Oscar Robinson, if you don't know him, look him up. One of the greatest scorers of all time. Peja Stock, I can never say his name right. Stokovic. If I remember correctly, I get him mixed up with the guy from New Jersey, but he was a great shooter. Jack Twyman, don't know that one. Chris Webber, we all know Chris from Michigan. And Scott Wedman was a great shooter. Also played for the Caps a little bit and Boston, if I remember correctly. So that, and I think I forgot to show this one. That's the Sacramento cards. These cards are really nice, guys. I like the color. They did team colors for it. It's really nice. Next up, Sacramento, or I'm sorry, San Antonio. Matt Bonner. I know Matt Bonner, and I'm not personally. I mean, I know who he is. I don't know what he's doing on this team. San Antonio has a rich history to pull from, so I'm a little bit on that one. But again, like I said, they got to fill that 11th, 12th guy, so it probably was the thought process. Bruce Bowen, defensive lockdown. Tim Duncan, look at that dude's card. My God, he's got every quality there is. And he should. Tim Duncan, top 5 player all time. Sean Elliott, great shooter. George Gervin. I had so much fun watching George Gervin and the Dr. J when I was growing up, and David Thompson. I loved all the scorers. Manu Ginobili, of course, we all know him. Danny Green, 3-point killer. Avery Johnson, love the voice. This is the basketball version, only voice-wise, of Patrick Mahomes. Of course, he became an announcer, but he was a great assist guy. Kawhi Leonard, of course, is still playing. Got a San Antonio card. Could have went a lot of different places with Kawhi, but San Antonio is the card he got. Patty Mills, big shooter. Ended up on Cleveland for a little bit, I believe. Tony Parker, great guard. And then David Robinson. Look at him fill out the freaking stat sheet. My Lord. And David was another one to watch. The Admiral. Man, was he awesome. For Memorial Day, great. No, Veterans Day. David Robinson would be a great card. Not Memorial Day. Let's not put him away yet. All right. Toronto up next. So Toronto got a team in here. So DJ Anunoby, he's new. I'm pretty sure I know that name, but can't really say I know a lot about him. I really pushed my basketball back lately. Chris Boshert, don't know him. Jose Calderon, remember him. He was more in the 2000s. Vince Carter, probably the most, if there is an underrated player in the NBA, and I hate the words underrated and overrated, but Vince played for a long time. And yes, he was a dunk machine, but Vince was a great player. So I don't know that Vince ever really got his due. Doug Christie, great shooter. DeMar DeRozan, of course, still playing today. Amir Johnson, don't know him, but I think he's playing today. Kyle Lowry, of course, he's playing today and is down in Miami, so he could have got a card down there, but I think Toronto's his best spot. Morris Peterson, 10 years ago, I believe. This guy, Pascal Siakam, is in today's. Surprised he got a card. He's a good player, but I'm surprised he got a card here. He's in Indiana now, of course. Jonas Valanciunas, say that name 3 times fast. A good center. I just think they had to struggle to get great players for Toronto. And then Fred VanVleet, of course, today player. So a lot of guys from today. And Toronto's a newer organization, so again, I would have rather seen them do Seattle, but anyway. Next up, Utah. As we're getting close to the end of the alphabet here, it's interesting for Utah here. Thurl Bailey was a great good power forward. I'm using the word great too much, but he was a good power forward, solid power forward. Adrian Dantley could score. Oh man, was he fun to watch. Mark Eaton was a blocking machine for Utah. Derek Favors, I don't know. Rudy Gobert, of course, everyone knows him now, and he's in the Western Conference Finals, Defensive Player of the Year, but getting schooled right now. Andre Kirilenko, of course. Karl Malone, great player, bad history, but loved Karl Malone when I was a kid watching that, even an adult watching Karl Malone play. Here's Pete Maravich. They put him on Utah, so at least they got a card. And I get it. The New Orleans Jazz moved to Utah, become the Utah Jazz. So I guess when I'm thinking New Orleans, they're not pulling over the New Orleans Jazz players. So I guess this makes sense on Pete. But I don't know, just the word New Orleans seems to go with him. Paul Millsap, good shooter, of course. Byron Russell got schooled by Jordan, but he was fouled. I don't care what anybody says. He pushed off. John Stockton, is there a better guard? Pure point guard. Magic is the best guard of all time. And I put Michael as a forward, so don't flip out. But Stockton was the best assist guy in the business. And then Deron Williams, good player. Off to Washington. This will be interesting because the Bullets and used to have a great team back in the day. Gilbert Arenas, of course, great scorer. Greg Ballard, that was one of the guys from the 70s. Anybody who has status pro basketball, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, Greg Ballard's on the cover. Or is it? I think it's Greg Ballard. I may be wrong. It's either Ballard. I think it's Ballard. Anyway, he's on the cover of one of the status pro seasons of the board. Bradley Beal, great scorer. Walt Bellamy back in the 60s, maybe the 70s, but definitely the 60s. Marcin Gortat, I'm surprised they put him in here. Just blocker. You've probably seen him on TV. He's been more on commercials now than he ever was. Elvin Hayes, great scorer. One of the best. And I believe he was in Houston for a while too, but Washington makes sense. Brendan Hayward, over the last 20 years, maybe 15 years, is in the NBA. Juwan Howard, might know him, University of Michigan, and then as a player, and then into the NBA, different teams. Washington definitely was one of them, and has now become a head coach of Michigan. Antoine Jamison, man, could this dude score too? He could light it up. He's great. Jeff Malone was a good scorer as well. Wes Unseld, a short, great center. Used to love watching Wes play. And then John Wall, of course, with Washington, just moved to Houston a few years ago. He's their other guard. So who do we have here for the coaches? This will be interesting because some teams have more than one great coach all the time. So I'm interested to see who they picked out for the all-time coach. And I'm already looking at the Cleveland one, and I don't agree with it, but I understand why. So let's take a look at the all-time coaches for each team and whether I agree with who they picked or not. Mike Fratello for Atlanta. Interesting. Probably a good choice. Fratello could have been for Cleveland as well. But I'm not going to disagree with that one. Red Auerbach for Boston. How do you disagree with that? But I grew up with Casey Jones behind the bench for Boston. But, I mean, how can you disagree with Red? Kevin Lowry for Brooklyn. You could have picked a bunch. Brooklyn's just never made it big. So, back when they were in New Jersey, that's when Lowry was there. Probably good as any to pick from it. Alan Bristow, same thing. Charlotte, hard to pick a great guy there. Phil Jackson gets Chicago. Shocking. No, kidding. Of course, Phil Jackson will get Chicago, but that means he didn't get the Lakers, right? Unless they put him on both. So that's a no-brainer for Chicago. Here's one I don't agree with. Tyronn Lue, and I get it. He gets it because they won a championship under him, but we all know they won it because their all-time coach, it was because they had LeBron. I would have put Bill Fitch. I think Bill Fitch did some wonders in Cleveland with teams, and had Michael Jordan not hit that one shot. I don't know if Fitch was coaching the team that year, but Fitch had some great years with Cleveland, and I would have put Bill Fitch in there. That would have been my pick. Dallas, Rick Carlisle. You could have. I'm not going to agree with that one. I'm going to go with. Oh God, should have my list of coaches up. There was a guy in the '80s who was so much better. Oh, he's here with Milwaukee. Don Nelson. I think Nelson was a great coach for Dallas too. I don't know. Rick Carlisle, Dallas. I don't know. I'd have to look back. George Karl would have also been a possible. George Karl's who was coaching the year Jordan did that. George Karl could have also been a great pick for Cleveland, but he's picked here for Denver. Again, Denver until lately hasn't really been a team to really reckon with. So, but I can't disagree with it. Chuck Daly is of course, Detroit's. Steve Kerr is, of course, Golden State's. Rudy Tomjanovich for Houston. Hard to disagree with that one. Larry Brown for Indiana. Didn't want to go Larry Bird, huh? Okay, I went with Larry Brown. I'm kidding. Brown was the right one. Doc Rivers for the Clippers. Again, who are you going to pick? Pat Riley for the Lakers. Since you can't take Phil Jackson, you're going to take Pat Riley, which you should, because Riley had a bigger career there. Lionel Hollins for Memphis. Yeah. Boy, they must have struggled to find time. I don't know. Memphis, again. Miami, Eric Spoelstra, no doubt about it. Maybe the most underrated, I'm using that word again, coach in NBA history. I know he had great players, but he keeps Miami in it every year. Don Nelson was an awesome coach with different teams. I believe it was Dallas and Milwaukee. Flip Saunders, an interesting pick for Minnesota. But when they were good back in the day, at one point, that he was a decent coach. So that's interesting. Nearing the end of the coaches here. So New Orleans went with Alvin Gentry. Okay. New York went with Red Holtzman. That it's probably right, championship wise. I don't know though. Lenny Wilkins got Oklahoma City because again, Seattle. Awesome coach for Seattle. Stan Van Gundy. If you haven't read the horrible story that I somehow didn't know, again, I walked away from basketball for a little while. I got really fed up with the game itself. I don't like the 16 steps and then dunk game. It's not basketball, so I walked away for a while. I missed the story on Stan Van Gundy, and if you haven't seen it, Google it. It's about his wife. It's very sad. Didn't know it. But he's Orlando's coach. Billy Cunningham, interesting pick for Philadelphia. Better player than he was a coach. So this one's interesting. John McLeod. I remember him for Phoenix. I'm not sure he's the guy I would have took for Phoenix. I don't know. Jack Ramsey was a great coach, great analyst too. Good pick for Portland. Sacramento, Rick Adelman, probably the best pick at the, with what they had to get. Of course, Popovich, maybe the best coach of all time. I know Jackson has all the rings, but Popovich, man, is he amazing. Nick Nurse, not a lot to pick from in Toronto, so they went with him. Jerry Sloan in Utah, that's a good one. Sloan won all the time. And Dick Motta in Washington is also a good pick. So that's the coaches. Last up, you get some. We've got our. I wonder no way they would have done this, but I got to look. We've got our. Okay. I was just looking at this down here. Sorry. This is the referees, and I'm just looking for a name, and I don't see him. I didn't think they would put him on here, but it would have been funny. I'm just gonna leave it out. And there's a referee. I was wondering if he would be on here. Very famous for all the wrong reasons. He is not on here. So anyway, it's pretty neat. You get solid, questionable, strict. Today's referees would be blind. So I'd love to see one that says enforce, meaning enforce the rules in the rule book, because they are not enforced. Anyway, there's this here, which is interesting. And there's a note here that says, after we printed a couple dozen sets of these franchise greats, we realized that the Clippers only had 2 players listed as guard, and Milwaukee had no players listed as center. The cards at the right are included here to reconcile those 2 issues in your set. Harper replaces Lloyd Vaught. That's Ron Harper. Ron Harper could have also been a guy in Cleveland or Chicago. So that's an interesting pick, or leave out, but it's a nice one to throw back in. Let's see. Harper replaces Lloyd Vaught, and Bogut. Andrew Bogut, good pick, center from Milwaukee, replaces Michael Redd. You don't have to remove Vaught and Redd from your set, though. Of course not. Randy Brewer is a personal favorite of mine, included for purely sentimental reasons. I love that he said that. And he's a gamer just like the rest of us. So he added in. Wait a minute. He says, Randy Brewer. Yeah, right here. So he added in Corey Maggette, Ron Harper, Bogut. So he added in a couple extra players for us. Which is nice. Then there's this note here from Keith. Those of you who don't know, Avalon Games is created by Keith Avalon. Not Avalon Games. Play Games created by Keith Avalon. Great guy. Great mind. Definitely took the card and dice industry in a completely different place. And I see here, just reading quickly through this, some folks might view might view a few of the team assignments we made controversial. And you already heard what I had to say. So, but you know, if I would have put them out, somebody wouldn't have liked mine. So it is what it is. I'm just excited to have the game and try it out. You know, it should be a lot of fun to play. I don't know if I'm going to get a game in tonight or not, because I am still totally into my APA replay of 1997. But this is cool. This is neat. I did want to check out real quick. Wanted to, in fact, show 23-24. I'm not going to go through all the teams. You guys know the 23-24 teams. I did this also as an educational. I buy games sometimes to educate me. And it's probably a different way of looking at things. But like hockey, I'm just learning hockey. I just picked up hockey moving to Nashville. So I buy older sets to play them and then do the work on hockey reference and see what happened in that game and try to learn the names and try to learn the history of all the teams. I did a project of every year of Nashville since I came into the league so that I could learn Nashville's history so I could talk sensible with other hockey fans here in Nashville. And so I'm trying to do that with overall of hockey. So from basketball perspective, I bought the 23-24 to educate me. Who are the players of today? I mean, I watch a few games here and there. I kind of keep an eye on the Cavs a little bit. I watch a few national games here and there, but basketball is not amongst the things I watch like I did as a kid. So the reason I wanted to show this was the complete difference in how they look, how the cards look. I am not knocking Play games. They're cheap. When you buy these compared to other places and their cards, this is huge value. I'm just saying you get, when you look at these, don't think if you were to buy this set that this is the way everything comes from Play. It doesn't. You have to buy the commemorative sets to get that. But they normally end up looking like this. It's still decent quality. And it got some ripping to do, as always, when you buy a lot of these games. But it's not color coordinated in any stretch. None of it is color coordinated. I believe they card every player. They're usually pretty good about it, although this seems small to be every player. But they do include the referees. I'm going to guess after playing the baseball game, not every referee is there because I was OCD enough to actually try and do a replay with Play and took and went to Baseball Reference and said, okay, the first base umpire is this guy, and he wasn't there. The second base umpire is this guy, and he was not there. I might have had 50% of the umpires. So I think they just throw in a few of them, just some of the bigger names or whatever. So don't expect to see all the referees. You're not going to get them. But I do believe all the players are here. If not, it's probably pretty close. And the one thing about Play games is they're big about putting out a pamphlet. I think it's like $15, I want to say, and it tells you how to create players. I have personally never jumped into it, something I probably would like to do, but it tells you how to create these. And it's not like you're just looking to see, does he get the skill? Does he get the quick? Does he get the reach? You're just trying to see if they get these different skills, which is kind of neat. So that's something I will probably do. I got this again, educational. What I'm thinking is one weekend. I'll probably play. I normally, as you know, I'm a replayer, but I will probably just play a big tournament with 23-24, and just that way I get every team in, and then I learn the players that are playing. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you're thinking about getting, let me jump into the chat real quick before I get out of here. Sorry, I was ignoring the chat again. Founder drops by, loving the videos. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. And then Glenn has a quote, there's only 12 players per team in that set. I'm assuming you're talking about the the all-time greats? Because they had 10. They had 10 or 12. No, I think they have 12. But you may be talking about this set too, the 23-24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 12 players. So I think you're talking about this only has 12. Yep, and you just mentioned in the chat it's 23-24. Yeah. Okay, so they didn't do all the players. So if you're a replay guy like me and plan to do a replay, you're going to have to make your own extra players for the set to make it as an as played replay. So outside of that, just wanted to show this in case anybody's on the edge of thinking, do I want to buy the primetime game and or the franchise great teams? Wanted to show you what it looks like. Quality is amazing. Major thumbs up for me. Obviously, I haven't played a game yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Else I would have never bought it, of course. But I think it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. It's different. Every game that comes out from Keith and the Play Games community is different. You have to take yourself into strategy mode over replay mode. That's the difference, and that's a good thing sometimes to get into that. That's why I like these, is their change of pace. So I'm going to stop rambling. Appreciate everybody stopping by, and I will talk to you later.